So today's topic, see, when I went through the last 5 years INI CAT papers, frequently I found around 4 times I found this topic. Okay, so broadly I can call it as hypochromic anemias. Okay, so whenever we speak about hypochromia, we call it hypochromic when the pallor of the RBC is more than the central one third, isn't it? So that concept we know. When we call this RBCs microcytes, when we call those RBCs microcytes, when the size is lesser than the size of a nucleus of the small lymphocyte of that person itself. Okay, so these 2 points we have to know. So now usual exam, they are asking in and around microcytic hypochromic anemias or just hypochromic anemias. So looking into the DDs of hypochromic anemias, okay, looking into the DDs of hypochromic anemias, these are the DDs. You all know that you will mark out iron deficiency anemia, anemia of chronic inflammation, okay, thalassemia, sideroblastic anemia, and iridia. Okay, what is this iridia? Iron resistant iron deficiency anemia. Fine. Okay, so before that, how was this hypochromia or microcytosis formed? You know that hemoglobin is formed out of heme and globin, isn't it? So when heme formation is affected, we can have hypochromia. When globin formation is affected, we can have hypochromia. Okay, so this heme formation also, you all know in heme there is iron moiety, isn't it? So when there is iron deficiency, we can have hypochromia because heme is not formed. Fine. When in chronic inflammation, anemia of chronic disorders, that time also, though iron is present in the body, we are not able to utilize that iron for heme formation. So again, there also hypochromia will set in. Okay, there also hypochromia will set in. Next, coming to the protoporphyrin part, that has to get incorporated, isn't it, to form heme with iron. So when that enzyme aminolevulinic acid ALA synthetase is affected, okay, when ALA synthetase is affected, heme formation is not there, and that time what we come across is sideroblastic anemia. Apart from these both, when globin chain synthesis is reduced quantitatively, that is thalassemia. Qualitatively it is normal. Quantitatively, when the globin chain synthesis is reduced, that is thalassemia, that time also there will be reduced hemoglobin formation and it will lead to hypochromia. So the DDs, the most important DDs are iron deficiency anemia, anemia of chronic disease, sideroblastic anemia, thalassemia. Okay, fine. Now we will see how to differentiate the NEET PG, the previous just which happened, that also had this question. See, iron deficiency anemia, one concept you have to know, basically there is iron deficiency. Fine. In anemia of chronic disease or in anemia of malignancy, there is sufficient of iron in the body, but the body is not able to utilize that iron. In thalassemia, globin defect. In sideroblastic anemia, you know that protoporphyrin incorporation is not happening. Okay, this we will deal it later. We'll deal this separately. Fine. Iron deficiency anemia, when coming to MCV and MCH, RBC indices, mean corpuscular volume and mean corpuscular hemoglobin, what happens is it is reduced. One thing I want to tell you, an MCQ point, a potential question here. In iron deficiency anemia, even before the anemia sets in, the RBC indices can be reduced. Question. It is given in Robbins, it is given in Hofbrand. Okay. So in iron deficiency anemia, before anemia sets in also, first what will happen? RBC indices are affected. So what will happen to MCV and MCH? It is reduced. Okay. Next. In case of anemia due to chronic disease, okay, due to chronic inflammation, what will happen? MCV is maintained normal or mild reduction. Okay, so usually according to Hofbrand, on an average, the MCV will be maintained between 75 to 82. Here it will be less than 75. Okay, In thalassemia, it is reduced very much beyond the degree of anemia. Say, for example, for 10 gram percentage of hemoglobin, what 10 gram per deciliter hemoglobin, what microcytosis you expect, beyond that there is microcytosis. That is what he's trying to tell you. Very low degree of reduced when compared to the degree of anemia. Okay. In sideroblastic anemia, usually only, see, in sideroblastic anemia, you know that there are two types, congenital type and acquired types, isn't it? So in congenital type, where there is deficiency of the enzyme proper, there will be reduced MCV. But otherwise, the acquired type, which we see in myelodysplastic syndrome, myelofibrosis, few myeloid neoplasms, and then ring sideroblast, refractory anemia with ring sideroblast, myelodysplastic syndrome, in those things, we don't see reduced MCV. Usually it is normal. Fine. Sometimes even more. So macrocytes also we can see. Fine. So MCV is markedly reduced where? In thalassemia. It is reduced to the degree of anemia in iron deficiency anemia. It is normal or mild reduction in chronic anemia. Fine. Anemia due to chronic disorders. When coming to serum iron, the normal serum iron you have to know here. Okay. The normal serum iron is 50 to 150 micrograms. Okay. So this normal serum iron will be reduced in case of iron deficiency anemia. In anemia of chronic disease or due to chronic inflammation also it will be reduced. You have to observe here, in thalassemia it is normal, in sideroblastic anemia it is raised. In thalassemia it is normal, in sideroblastic anemia it is raised. Okay, and then next coming to total iron binding capacity. Okay, total iron binding capacity, that is serum iron plus unbound iron. Okay, so total iron binding capacity of the body is raised because there is reduced iron, there is more amount of unbound transference. So the iron binding capacity is raised in case of iron deficiency anemia. But in case of anemia due to chronic disorders, it is reduced. See, you have to remember it like this. In iron deficiency anemia, serum iron is reduced, but total iron binding capacity is increased, opposite direction. But in anemia due to chronic disorders, both are reduced. The arrows are reduced. Both are reduced. In thalassemia, both are normal. In thalassemia, both are normal. In sideroblastic anemia, you all know that iron is there in excess, so it is raised. Iron binding capacity is usually normal. What is the normal iron binding capacity? 300 to 360 microgram per deciliter. Okay, then next coming to serum ferritin. Serum ferritin in iron deficiency anemia, it is reduced. This you all know. But in anemia due to chronic disorder, it can be normal or raised. Why? Because serum ferritin is also an acute phase reactant, that we have to remember. So it can be normal or raised. In thalassemia, it is normal. If you observe, most of the things are normal in thalassemia. You have to remember that. Okay. In sideroblastic anemia, as usual, because there is excess of iron, even ferritin is going to be high. Okay. Next, coming to bone marrow iron stores. One important potential question here is, what is the gold standard for iron, gold standard diagnosis for iron deficiency anemia? It is demonstrating absent iron stores in bone marrow. Okay, that is one question. I'll show you the images. So that is one question you have to remember. When coming to iron deficiency anemia, obviously I told you the gold standard diagnostic methodology to prove it is iron deficiency anemia is absent iron stores, isn't it? So it will be absent. In anemia of chronic disease, you know that there is sufficient amount of iron stores. It is just that erythrocyte precursors are not able to utilize that iron. So stores in the bone marrow will be present. In thalassemia, what will happen? Obviously, everything is normal, so it is going to be present. And likewise in sideroblastic anemia. Okay, when coming to, this is very important, you have to concentrate here. When it coming to erythroblast iron, that is in the erythrocyte precursors, inside that also there will be iron. Okay, that iron, when it comes to that, that is again absent in iron deficiency anemia. Okay, it is absent in anemia of chronic disorders also. Why? Because though there is iron in the stores, that is in the macrophages, the erythrocyte precursors are not able to utilize that iron. Okay, that is why there is no iron in the erythrocyte precursors. Erythrocyte precursors have to take iron from the macrophages, isn't it? So that is not happening. So that is why there is no iron in the erythroblast. Okay, next in thalassemia, it is normal, it is present. In sideroblastic anemia, there is excess. So there are ring forms. Siderotic granules will be present arranged around the nucleus of the erythrocyte precursor. Fine. Okay, next coming to hemoglobin electrophoresis, nowhere it is going to be affected. Hemoglobin electrophoresis is going to be very important only in case of thalassemia, especially beta thalassemia, where HbA2 level will be more than 3.5 gram per deciliter. Okay, fine. In alpha thalassemia, in fact, these simple hemoglobin electrophoresis also is not going to be useful. There we diagnose based on the RBC count. It's the diagnosis last, we consider it last. Okay, so that will be your last DD. Okay, in thalassemia also beta is majorly C. Fine. Okay, so these four entities I am very sure you understood. Now coming to iron resistant iron deficiency anemia. Okay, here basically what happens in iron resistant iron deficiency anemia is there is inherited deficiency of, inherited mutation of MAT-tryptase. This MAT-tryptase is the enzyme which is going to degrade hemojuvelin. Okay, this hemojuvelin indirectly is going to help in synthesis of hepcidin. So in the absence of this MAT-tryptase, when this becomes absent, hemojuvelin is upregulated and there is persistent production of hepcidin. So when there is persistent production of hepcidin, this hepcidin is an acute phase reactant. Yesterday's class you recall, this hepcidin is going to increase degradation of ferroportin, okay, and prevent iron uptake in the duodenum and also uptake by the erythrocyte precursors from the macrophages. So that is why in anemia of chronic disease also, because hepcidin is high, what will happen is in spite of iron being there, okay, in spite of iron being there, this iron is not utilized. The iron is not going out from the macrophages into erythrocyte precursors because this high level of hepcidin, which is an acute phase reactant, is going to increase the degradation of ferroportin. Fine. This is the first cause of iron resistant iron deficiency anemia. The second but very rare cause is defect in divalent metal transporter 1. Okay. In this you have to understand that similar, it will almost present like anemia of chronic disease, because here also it is hepcidin, increased hepcidin, here also it is increased hepcidin. So your MCV will be reduced, okay, MCV will be reduced when compared to anemia of chronic disease. Serum iron will be reduced, just compare this, okay, and then total iron binding capacity will be reduced. Serum ferritin will be raised here. The only difference is here. Okay, the serum here it can be normal or raised. Here it will be raised. Okay, bone marrow iron stores as usual it is going to be present. Erythroblast iron as usual it is going to be absent. It is just like anemia of chronic disease. The only thing is the mechanism is going to be different. Okay, this is just images. This is koilonychia. Very nice, no? You see the spooning of nails? Koilonychia, an important sign of anemia. Okay, cheilitis. Cheilitis. Okay, koilonychia cheilitis. This is the peripheral smear. If you see these are elliptocytes. See, there is difference in the size and shape. There is difference in the size and shape of the RBCs. That is called anisocytosis. And see, you are seeing microcytes with increased amount of pallor. Okay, you're seeing microcytes with increased amount of pallor along with pencil cells or elliptocytes. Okay, this is a microcytic hypochromic anemia picture. Fine, microcytic hypochromic anemia picture. I told you about the bone marrow stores, isn't it? See, this is a bone marrow picture, a potential question. See here, these are the macrophages in the marrow. Okay, Prussian blue, it will take a green color. Okay, these are the iron stores. This is erythroblast. Okay, erythroblast precursor, siderotic granule. That means the erythrocytes precursors are utilizing the iron. But in case of iron deficiency anemia, if you see, there is hardly any iron. Iron stores are absent. And see the erythrocytes, there is no siderotic granule and they have a ragged edge. They have a ragged edge. Okay, there is no siderotic granules and they have a ragged edge. What is the treatment for this iron deficiency anemia? See, oral and parenteral. Okay, oral it is ferrous sulfate, ferrous salts. It is ferrous salts, ferrous sulfate, okay, ferrous fumarate, ferrous gluconate. Okay, in that most economical and efficacy wise which is good is ferrous sulfate. 67 milligram of elemental iron for every 200 milligram tablet. Fine. And then ferrous gluconate, who are intolerant to the iron, ferrous gluconate 37 milligram per 300 milligram tablet. Okay, parenteral, when it comes to parenteral, it is ferric hydroxide like iron dextran, iron sucrose, ferric carboxy maltose, those things. Okay, and one more important point you have to know, it is nothing different. Okay, parenteral, it is not like parenteral you give, the response is going to be so much. Both the responses are comparable. Based on the disorders, we prefer whenever the oral absorption is going to be less or whenever there is severe anemia, we prefer parenteral iron therapy. Okay, thank you.
Best training, peaceful environment, PG medical entrance exam preparation were my expectations. I got them at Speed Medical Village in Kanchipuram. Today, I am a PG topper.
Speed Medical Village, a unique eco-friendly campus dedicated for PG preparation. Speed Medical Institute, a complete solution for medical education.